Tonight, one step closer to freedom. Sport's back on and pub rules will relax, but a crucial restriction remains. Lives under threat as a bushfire rages dangerously close to homes north of Adelaide. A major vaccine announcement, confirmation on who'll receive it first as a leading trial hits a roadblock. A surprise guest at the heat-plagued Black Friday sales, with many retailers preparing for an all-night shopping marathon. Plus, the Test match crowd cap. How many fans will be let in, and will the general public get any tickets?
Live from Adelaide, 7 News with Jane Doyle.
Good evening. First to an unfolding emergency south of Adelaide, and marine rescuers are currently searching waters off Malang for a man feared drowned. Police say 2 men were in an inflatable canoe that capsized in Lake Alexandrina this morning. One of the occupants was pulled from the water after several hours, suffering hypothermia. The canoe was also retrieved. Police and sea rescue volunteers are searching on the water and from the air. The hospitality industry says the government has killed December trade by keeping harsh social distancing rules inside venues for the next 2 weeks. After the crippling lockdown, many had been banking on the restrictions being lifted by next Tuesday.
Pubs and restaurants fear today's ruling could be the last straw.
We've already struggled all year to make money, and this was our time to make money, and no, we're not going to. It's ridiculous.
The 1 person per 4 square metres rule's here to stay for at least 2 weeks, cutting capacity down to 25%. This afternoon, bookings businesses were counting on were already being cancelled.
Cancel that one as well.
I can't even speculate how many thousands of dollars we're going to lose. At this point in time, we're hopefully here next year.
Even the police commissioner didn't see it coming.
We didn't envisage that we'd be taking these sort of mid-steps today. I think this is a prudent, balanced approach.
Every single hospitality venue inside is not viable. This effectively trashes December. It's hard to see how it could be any worse 4 weeks out from Christmas.
The Transition Committee did agree to relax some rules. From midnight Monday, 1 person per 2 square metres will be allowed in outdoor areas, and you'll be able to stand with a drink. There'll be no capacity limits as long as venues follow density rules and have a QR reader.
This is probably one of the greatest weapons we have to dealing with a future outbreak.
Funeral numbers are being lifted to 150 people. The same goes for private functions at venues. And dancing is back on the table at weddings, along with standing with a drink. But for now, we'll be stuck with a limit of just 10 people at home.
We had almost 100% hit rate of transmission in the large family group that where we found the virus in the first place back then on the 14th, 15th of November. We will definitely be reviewing this once we get closer to Christmas Day.
Community sport has the green light to resume too, under a modified program to reduce the risk of infection. Andrea Nicholas, 7 News.
And we cross live to Andrea, where 2 new COVID hotspots have been revealed, Andrea.
Yes, Jane, it's believed they're linked to the Woodville High case and include the Arndale Shopping Centre. Authorities say a person with COVID-19 visited here twice while potentially infectious. That was on Sunday the 15th and the 22nd of November from mid-morning till just after lunchtime. The Port Adelaide Plaza was also visited on November 13th and 15th. Extensive contact tracing does continue for close contacts, but if anyone was at either of these locations during the same time window, they're being urged to get tested if they develop symptoms.
It is very mild symptoms. So just feeling a little bit down, a bit tired, got a slightly itchy nose, scratchy throat, anything like that, bit of a headache even, bit of an upset tummy, anything at all, and you have been in those locations, please get tested.
The Parafield cluster remains at 31 with 0 new cases today. Almost 5,000 close contacts are in quarantine. And yesterday alone, more than 12,000 people were tested. Across the week, almost 100,000 people have been screened. And authorities are urging us to keep that up, hoping we can get on top of this Parafield cluster. Jane?
Thanks, Andrea. And it's been a long time coming, but South Australians will be able to travel freely each way with Victoria from midnight on Monday. Victoria's now gone 28 days without a case.
We can't put a number on it, but we certainly anticipate large numbers. I think it's fair to say that the connection between SA and Victoria is probably the strongest as it is with in terms of relationships between the two jurisdictions.
But South Australia won't allow international arrivals until at least December the 7th, as authorities work to overhaul the state's hotel quarantine program. Bumper crowds have flocked to the city and suburbs for the marathon Black Friday sales. Diana Williams joins us from Rundle Mall, and post-lockdown the stores are swarming with shoppers. It's fantastic for struggling retailers.
It certainly is, Jane. 16 hours of non-stop retail therapy. It's fantastic for Christmas shoppers. So Christmas is the main game here today, and there are plenty of bargains on offer, in some cases up to 70%. And unlike other years, social distancing is very much a thing, and face masks, the preferred fashion accessory. They were being handed out by COVID marshals everywhere today, and a surprise visitor, our Chief Medical Officer, Professor Nicola Spurrier, got a rock star welcome when she helped spread the message.
Packet of 3. Thank you. Pop it on and feel safe.
Businesses made provisions for orderly queues outside stores, and there were even temperature checks. Retailers are hoping this will help get much needed cash back in the tills after the lockdown.
It's been a really challenging year for retail, and certainly this is the biggest weekend of the retail calendar, and heading into Christmas we're really hoping for a strong shopping season for all of our retailers.
Mostly just Christmas presents for family. It's a good time to go because everything's on sale.
It's a bit much. You can't really get into any of the shops. There's all lines everywhere and there's too many people. I don't like it. I'm going to go home.
As long as people are socially distancing, wearing their masks.
Suburban centres were packed as well. Marion was a cool option. And Jane, just in the last half an hour, I've seen the crowd numbers really ramp up. So hopefully this will be a very fruitful but long night for retailers. Back to you.
Thanks, Dee. As we go to air tonight, firefighters are tackling a stubble fire that's threatened homes north of Adelaide. Police are investigating if it was deliberately lit.
As a wall of smoke and flames approached, Robert Chadwick did what little he could, hosing down his property, while his mother hoped for the best.
It was ferocious. It just ran faster than the wind.
Lynn was self-isolating after arriving from Victoria. She questioned if she could leave her home.
If it had come up this way any closer, it would have jumped the road here and got us as well.
The fire started north of Roseworthy around 1 p.m. In searing heat, 200 firefighters worked on the ground and from the air. It tore through 650 hectares before it was contained just before 3.
Contained doesn't mean it's controlled. Contained means that we've pretty much stopped the forward rate of spread, but it doesn't mean that it can't get away with a wind change or a gust of wind.
Police investigating an ignition point on the side of the road to figure out exactly how it started.
I can't rule out in or out anything. It could have been anything.
Emergency crews will stay on the fire ground overnight so they have an upper hand on any flare-ups in these severe weather conditions.
We're going to err on the side of caution and have more appliances than probably we would normally, basically because of the expectation of tomorrow.
An ominous warning ahead of summer. Lauren Rose, 7 News.
Thousands of South Australians have flocked to beaches and shopping centres to beat today's heat. The conditions are so extreme, many COVID testing stations have even shut up shop.
The searing sun and soaring temperature was not enough to deter scores of beachgoers across the coast.
Ridiculous, yeah, out of 10, 10 out of 10.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it. Every time it's this weather, I'm at the beach, you'll find me.
Some sought refuge in the shade of the jetty, while others let the water do the cooling.
Obviously, they're well sunscreened up, bring them back into the shade, keeping an eye on it. We won't stay too long.
Yeah, I came from Stonyfell out here to have a swim because it's pretty hot in the hills.
Hot too in the cockpit of our shark spotting planes. The patrols will fly from North Haven to Rapid Head 7 days a week, alerting beachgoers to any danger.
We know that our locals and also tourists love to enjoy those beaches. But I tell you what, if you hear and you see that plane and it starts circling and then you hear the siren, make sure you get out of the water.
For those choosing to beat the heat at home, some money-saving advice. When it comes to air conditioners, every degree cooler adds around 10% to your energy bill.
22 to 24 is usually what I tell people. It's just that when you run it at 18, you're using more energy, units working harder.
We're told the trick is
turn it on nice and early in the morning, shut the blinds, try to reduce any external heat coming into the house.
The heat was so extreme, COVID testing sites across the city and suburbs shut at 11 this morning. This one here at Victoria Park will reopen this evening at 8 until midnight.
Meantime, the residents of Adelaide Zoo were treated to a chilly surprise. Ice blocks made up of their favourite treats to help them cool off. Rosie Barnett, 7 News.
And there isn't any respite yet, with a hot night on the way. Let's go to Amelia with more. And Mills, some centres are looking at even hotter temperatures tomorrow.
Jane, they are, and those could be record breakers. Woomera and Maree are going for a top of 47 degrees. Renmark and Coopabedi are expecting a top around 46, and their temperatures not seen in those locations in November. In the city today, we came close to 41 degrees. Elizabeth hit 43 this afternoon. Roseworthy, near the Templars Fire, recorded a top around 45, and it'll be a nervous night for fire crews with the mid-north region there and the Flinders both facing extreme fire danger tomorrow. Total fire bans have been declared again across much of the state ahead of the cool change that we're expecting during the day tomorrow. For the metro area, the exact timing of the change will determine just how hot we get tomorrow. At this stage, it's looking like it'll arrive around the middle of the day, but it will take a while for those cooler conditions to push out all this heat. Now, that change could deliver some showers too. I'll have more on that in the forecast a little later. Jane.
Thanks, Amelia. A Hells Angels bikie is one of 2 people arrested over the shooting of a woman at a Salisbury North home early yesterday. Police detained the 30-year-old gang member from Mile End and charged him with impeding an investigation. A 26-year-old Morphett Vale woman's also been arrested. Police allege she pulled the trigger. The victim, also 26, was dropped at the Lyle McEwen Hospital after she was shot in the stomach. Her injuries are not life-threatening. China has fired a new and damaging shot in its trade war with Australia. It's slapped massive tariffs on our wine exports, which could hike the price of Australian wine by more than 200%.
It's the latest in an increasingly bitter breakdown of trade, China launching swift and savage tariffs.
This is a very distressing time for many hundreds of Australian wine producers.
Ranging from 107 to 212%, pushing up a $20 bottle of Aussie wine to $60.
To get this sudden interim decision we found devastating. Shipments will slow or stop immediately.
It's our biggest overseas wine market, almost 40% of exports. Beijing claims Australia is dumping wine, selling it cheaper in China than in Australia, undercutting Chinese producers. Our government says those claims are false, the tariffs grossly unfair.
It is wrong.
But not unexpected, with China punishing Australia for political reasons like our support for Hong Kong, an inquiry into COVID-19 and moves to counter Chinese agents and influence. They've already hit exports of beef, coal and sugar, among others, all despite a free trade agreement worth $240 billion.
If this is going to become a long-term thing, then it's definitely going to impact on the wineries.
There might be some small upside for Australian consumers, while we most definitely won't see a price drop. Some of the wines that have been in short supply because so much of it was sent to China will now be a little bit easier to get hold of.
We'll see Penfolds obviously being a little bit more available, we hope, because it's been tough the last few years.
Evan Batten, 7 News.
A retired Special Forces commander has launched a blistering attack on the Chief of the Defence Force following the damning war crimes report. Heston Russell says it's disgusting that he and his colleagues will be stripped of special awards while those in charge can keep theirs.
At the place considered sacred ground by Australian veterans, retired Commando Heston Russell launches a new attack.
And that is one of the most disgusting demonstrations of senior leadership that has made me very disappointed to call myself a military veteran.
A stinging assessment of the Chief of the Defence Force after moves to revoke unit awards in the wake of the damning Brereton War Crimes report.
To strip all over 3,000 Special Forces personnel for the action of 19 is not only disgusting, it's un-Australian.
If we knew then what we know now, the unit would not have received or been put forward for a meritorious unit citation.
Despite alleging Special Forces soldiers murdered 39 Afghans, the report largely clears the military top brass of any wrongdoing. But Heston Russell believes, as commander of all forces in Afghanistan, the general should lose his Distinguished Service Cross.
It's important that not only is there accountability in the Defence Forces for individual alleged acts, but also in the chain of command.
Refusing to be drawn on whether he should resign, Lieutenant General Burr today confirmed that 13 serving members of the Special Air Service Regiment implicated in the report now face the sack. Issued with termination notices, they have 14 days to respond. Rob Scott, 7 News.
President Trump says he will leave the White House in January if the US Congress confirms his election loss, but he won't give up his fight. A defiant president clashed with reporters as Americans marked a major holiday ruined by the pandemic.
3, 2, 1, let's have a parade!
New York's annual Thanksgiving parade has marched through snowstorms, a Great Depression. Now, on empty streets, a pandemic.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
The president spoke by video with soldiers.
You play golf? You love it, right?
Earlier, he'd indulged his own love of the game. But a reporter upset him more.
Don't talk to me that way. You're just a lightweight. Don't talk to me that way. I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president that way.
Taking questions for the first time since November 3rd's election and doubling down on his big claim with little evidence that he won.
It's going to be a very hard thing to concede, because we know there was massive fraud.
The president says he will leave the White House if Joe Biden's win is confirmed, but will continue his election fight.
This year we're going to be staying in Delaware with just a small group around our dinner table.
Joe and Jill Biden's Thanksgiving message focused on the pandemic.
From our family to yours, happy Thanksgiving.
God bless you.
Despite all the warnings, this has still been the busiest travel week in America since the start of the pandemic in March. Health experts fearing that the daily death toll could double over the next 10 days, from 2,000 to 4,000 deaths a day.
Have you got a message for America this Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I hope that we all stay safe.
From the country's leading infectious disease doctor.
Australia's done a good job. You guys should be congratulated.
In Washington, D.C., Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
The first test is only 3 weeks away and it's still a juggling act for cricket officials at Adelaide Oval. Chief reporter Mike Smithson joins us live from there. And Mike, are there any precious tickets left?
Jane, around 20,000 SACA members had their chance in a ballot. COVID restrictions have made tickets potentially as scarce as hen's teeth, but no member's going to make a duck of those nominating in the ballot, usually for a combination of days. SACA says the worst you'll get is missing out on just one of your nominated days, so that means some members will see perhaps 3 days at least when it kicks off in December, later in about 3 weeks. It will be Indian champion Virat Kohli's only test of the Australian summer. Many members want to see him at the crease alone, who wouldn't? So it's not a bad outcome. The crowd cap is less than the footy was allowed, so it's just under 27,000 per day, but the Chief Health Officer hinted that may change.
Look, the Adelaide Oval have been great people to work with. We've been working with them all through this pandemic, and so my team and I will be continuing to look and tweaking and putting in whatever risk mitigations necessary. So we'll continue to work with the Adelaide Oval management on that.
Now, come what may, general admission tickets will come online soon, but we can't say at this stage how many. But if we stay ahead of the COVID curve and the cap is lifted, so will the number of tickets to both members and general punters, Jane.
All cricket lovers will be hoping so. Thanks, Mike. Now, Soto, what's coming up in sport?
Talking about cricket lovers, geez, if you love your Aussie cricket team right now, they have made a super start to the one-day international. They are in great form. Now, Dave Warner and Aaron Finch put on 150 plus to get things going. The skipper chalked up a ton, as has Steve Smith. So, Jane, he's found his hands, whatever that meant. He's got them. Hey, and we catch up with a local striker star teenager whose talents extend far beyond the cricket pitch. This girl is, well, the epitome of an all-rounder, if you like. Also, too, an AFL footballer has been lured out of retirement, a premiership player, and going to another club. We'll tell you who it is soon.
I'll be fascinated to learn. Thank you, Soda. Still to come on 7 News, just moments from tragedy. Two brothers tell how they were forced to land an ultralight plane in an Adelaide Hills paddock. Also ahead, why one of the world's most promising vaccines could be delayed. Also ahead, fans and police clash at the funeral of soccer legend Diego Maradona, and hundreds of alcohol bottles smashed in a shocking rampage.
7 News brought to you by Industry Super Funds.
Pretty soon the amount of super paid on top of our wages will go up. And up. And up. And up. All the way to 12% guaranteed. That extra money will make a big difference when I retire, put my feet up. You see, your future is even more super.
I want to offer you a life-changing amount of money.
The champions are back.
$160,000. $250,000.
Who will risk it all?
This is really tough. We don't just give you the money.
To be Australia's greatest quiz champion.
This is the biggest game ever.
This is the grand final. Beat the Chasers. Sunday at 7 on 7.
Tonight, I'll be eating a paneer and red kidney bean tikka masala. Cheers. All right then, let's get you spayed.
Healthy skin starts with new Cetaphil Face with hyaluronic acid. It helps protect the health of sensitive skin with cleansers and moisturisers that give gentle, effective daily care. Healthy skin starts with Cetaphil.
Solar rebates reduce in January, so confirm your lowest price today on the huge 6.6 kilowatt premium Sunboost Maxi Saver system. Still only $33.81. Ends November 30, no extensions.
Call 1300 Sunboost.
Is that your dog?
It's the neighbour's dog. Will my insurance cover this?
Budget Direct would have provided you with temporary accommodation for up to a year while they repaired it.
Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
Right now, you can get the LDV T60 Auto for the price of the manual. Feels good, doesn't it? The LDV T60 4x4 Diesel Auto from just $28,990. Visit an LDV dealer today.
Looking for a unique gift this Christmas? Then get this autonomous robotic bartender that makes drinks on command. Actually, there's a fresher way. Get a SodaStream. It's the perfect gift that makes sparkling drinks on demand. SodaStream.
Harvey Norman Big Friday. Big deals store-wide, one day only. Save $30 on the SodaStream Jet Drink Maker, now only $39. That's nearly half price. Hisense king-size 65-inch 4K smart TV. Hot price, only $895. This silver Hisense side-by-side fridge is great value at just $998. Stores open late tonight with more Big Friday deals, plus 60 months interest-free with bonus gift card. At Harvey Norman, do not miss out.
Go!
The Belair rail line was shut down for several hours today while police investigated the death of a man whose body was found on the track at Unley Park. It's understood he was struck by a train around 10 a.m. The incident wasn't at a pedestrian crossing. A report's being prepared for the coroner. A man was rushed to hospital after falling from a balcony at Netherby. He was taking part in a gym class at a private facility on the Erbray High School grounds. He suffered a concussion and was taken to the Royal Adelaide. SafeWork SA is investigating. Two brothers have told how they cheated death when their plane broke down in skies over the Adelaide Hills. The pilot was forced to make an emergency landing in a paddock near Mount Barker with just seconds to spare.
Adrian and Kieran Fitzgerald can laugh about it now, but it wasn't a joke when their ultralight suddenly stopped flying over the Bugle Ranges.
When the pressure warning signals came up, you could see just right, we're going to land there.
Pilot Adrian Fitzgerald realised his plane's fuel pump had failed.
The aircraft was spluttering and making really funny sounds, and there was 3 neighbours there very quickly because they'd heard the aircraft.
I said to David, hell, that plane's low, you know, and then I heard it start to pop, 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 you know. And we seen it disappear.
Adrian had less than a minute to make a life or death decision.
I didn't want to stall it or anything like that, which can cause a lot of problems. You know, that's what kills everyone.
There was no time to be thinking whether you were or you weren't, because that's what we'd chosen to do. Once you pull the power off, you're going down.
The 2 brothers are both experienced pilots and say they've done extensive training for emergency landings just like this.
We were pretty close to the power lines, but we were well underneath that. They were right on the edge of the fence. You just keep flying it until it comes down.
Amazingly, the plane and its passengers escaped without a scratch.
They did an excellent job. Well, there was dam, trees, rough ground, power lines, fence lines, so you've got to miss all of those things and get the plane on the ground and not bend it.
Once the ultralight has been checked out mechanically, the brothers hope to fly it home. Peter Caldecott, 7 News.
Overseas football legend Diego Maradona has been laid to rest in a day of remarkable scenes in Argentina. A crush of fans queuing to see his casket clashed with police before more lined the streets of Buenos Aires to farewell the 60-year-old they called God.
An Argentinian wake for football's king. For 20 blocks, they sang tens of thousands waiting to see Maradona. His coffin draped in his nation's flag and his famous number 10, a legion of fans. Their passion explosive. Fearing they'd miss out, the crowd surged into the presidential palace. Police unleashed. Rubber bullets, tear gas and water cannon. The public viewing over before Maradona made one last trip through his city. An extraordinary procession, his casket surrounded. Like a state funeral, a farewell through the suburbs. And down the highway, closed just for him. Argentina said goodbye to the legend who carried a country, and today they carried him to a final resting place beside his parents. Overnight, former club Napoli, every player in number 10, paused. The stadium outside lit up by fans who'll never forget. And in the slum where a legend was born, this, eternally, thank you. Emma Dallymore, 7 News.
2 passengers have somehow survived being flung from an out-of-control car in India. The spectacular crash was caught on camera. The car flipped wildly after hitting a tree. A leash dog scurried out of the way just in time as 2 men in the back seat were sent rocketing out the door. Another 5 men then piled out of the upturned vehicle. They were all drunk and not wearing seatbelts. Remarkably, no one was seriously injured. Still to come on 7 News, a Blair Athol sex predator who lured a 10-year-old girl into a toilet block has been re-sentenced. Find out what he got after the break. Also, scandal rocks the development of one of the world's most promising COVID vaccines. An Aldi wrecking rampage. Watch as a woman smashes hundreds of bottles of booze. And not a single case in 28 days. Has Melbourne finally eliminated COVID-19?
Do you want to know how it's going to end? We should. It's a good story.
You're talking about an armed robbery.
I'm not going to lose you too. I love you. Nothing will ever change that.
He thinks that I'm into you.
Crazy, huh?
Totally.
I have a son.
I'm looking for the Stewarts.
I told him to stay away. Shouldn't be here.
He's going to die in there.
But he is a cop.
You really thought you'd get away with it? Constable Thorne.
Hold your breath for the heart-stopping season final of Home and Away, Monday at 7 on 7.
Life skills and confidence for kids, to me that's big.
A workplace that really cares for its apprentices. To me, that's big.
Giving artists a chance to share their stories.
Local jobs for local kids. To me, that's big.
Getting good food to where it's needed the most. To me, that's big.
The people in South Australia's great outback. What a place to live.
And to have support for things that
make it even better.
To us, that's big too.
See? Nailed it.
I never slept out underneath the stars. I lied about being the outdoor type. I never rode a sleeping bag, let alone a mountain bike.
Hyundai Tucson, made for it, even if you're not.
I'd like a bar of chocolate, please. Happy birthday, Mum.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
The St John Christmas Home Lottery is back. The grand prize includes his Samuel James mansion, a marina front holiday home, a Range Rover, a fishing boat and $250,000 cash. Buy your ticket today.
Bring on the dirtiness, muddiness, sauciness. And how did that get under theiriness? Because with a great range of cleaning solutions, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness.
It's tough out there, Australia. Every cent counts. Make sure your insurance is about where you're at right now. You could save lots. Yui, you insured. It's car and home insurance for individuals like you.
Harvey Norman Big Friday. Save $150 on this Acer Spin laptop, now $298. Save over $500 on the Samsung 49-inch Odyssey G9 gaming monitor, now $2,294. Samsung Galaxy A51, now $429, save $170. Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus, now $168, save $130. Stores open late tonight with more Big Friday deals, plus 60 months interest-free with bonus gift card. Big Friday at Harvey Norman.
A paedophile who sexually assaulted a young girl in a toilet cubicle at a suburban playground will spend another 2.5 years in jail. After a challenge from the state's top prosecutor, Hamza Bahrami's jail term has been increased to 7 years. DPP Martin Hinton argued the sentencing judge was wrong in applying the maximum discount to Bahrami's original head sentence, saying it was manifestly inadequate. A driver accused of hooning just before a 5-year-old boy was hit by a flying tyre has been released on bail. The 18-year-old opened up about the incident as he walked from a Queensland watch house, admitting he should never have been on the road.
There's no good reason for it at all.
Why were you doing burnouts down a main street?
I shouldn't have been, it was dumb.
The young victim remains in an induced coma at the Queensland Children's Hospital. Medical professionals and possibly the elderly will be the first to receive a COVID vaccine in March. The confirmation comes as doubts about the effectiveness of one of the world's leading vaccine candidates forces new human trials. Australians stranded overseas will also be given access to the jab.
So many families.
Stephanie Kane is stranded in the UK with her 3 children, the youngest just 6 weeks old.
It's pretty frustrating. We've had our flights booked since July.
4 cancellations later, she's desperate to come home.
We just want to get our lives back sorted in Australia.
Stephanie is one of thousands of Aussies stuck overseas.
The Prime Minister said he would have Australians home for Christmas.
26,000 wanted to come home in September. Since then, 35,000 have returned. Now another 36,000 have registered.
We're meeting the amounts that we hope to achieve by Christmas. It's just that more people are looking to come home.
For those unable to return, the federal government is now looking at ways to provide them with a free COVID vaccine.
Our goal is to protect all Australians, no matter where they are.
But a slight setback in one of the most promising candidates. US scientists have raised concerns about the effectiveness of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. It follows a manufacturing error on doses administered during the trials. Now the company is redoing them.
When you started to look closer, not everything seemed to add up.
Australia has purchased 33.8 million doses of the UK Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, 10 million of the American Pfizer vaccine, 40 million for Novavax, both due for release early next year, 51 million for the University of Queensland's candidate, likely rolled out from July, and another 25 million in reserve.
We've had strong evidence of safety, strong evidence of effectiveness.
Despite the delay, 7 News can reveal that top officials met in Canberra today and approved the rollout of the first vaccines to go to medical professionals and possibly the elderly in March next year. Jennifer Beshwati, 7 News.
Melbourne is coming back to life, celebrating the end of the second wave after 28 days without a new COVID case. That's the scientific measure for the elimination of the virus. But locals are being warned not to become complacent.
After a long, hard winter, it was the day we'd been waiting for. 112 days in lockdown, fighting a second wave that's now been crushed.
I think it's fantastic news.
Of all the milestones we've marked during the pandemic, today's is big. 28 days with no new cases. That's 2 life cycles of the virus, a sign we've successfully eliminated it.
I think it's great, but don't forget it's still out there.
The data suggests that's true. Virus fragments have been found in wastewater at Corio. While it's likely an old case, extra testing's now underway at Norlane, but that's just a precaution.
We can be confident that we don't have community transmission right here, right now within Victoria.
The big question now, why are masks still needed? Victoria, the only place in the nation where they're still mandatory inside.
We could be in a position with Adelaide and their outbreak under control that the government reviews that yet again. There might still be places like public transport or cinemas, who knows.
There'll come a time when we're able to relax those measures further. But I see them in many respects as a pretty effective insurance policy.
A policy that's paying off.
Staff at an Aldi in the UK could do little but watch as a woman smashed hundreds of bottles of alcohol. She remained silent as she dragged bottles of wine and spirits off the shelves in a bizarre rampage.
What is she doing?
Police finally moved in and arrested the woman. Her motive is unknown. Still to come on 7 News, school bus scare. Dozens of children on board as a driver loses control. The painting that smashed an Australian art record and how much it fetched at auction. And the mystery punter yet to claim a $20 million Powerball jackpot.
It's time to celebrate this year's end.
What a crazy 12 months it's been.
With a Christmas special so big it spans the nation.
All hands on deck.
We can do something beautiful. 2 amazing makeovers, so many festive ideas.
I'm blown away.
Join us for the Better Homes Christmas special, next up on 7.
The Rebel biggest Black Friday sale on now. Get the Garmin Fenix 6 Sport Watch half price, now $4.99. Plus buy one get one half price on all footwear. There's loads more, but be quick. Sale ends Monday. Rebel, sport is calling.
As our economy recovers, investing in new skills is more important than ever. Opportunities in health and social care are available now, and skills in defence, construction and technology will play a big part in our future. We need skilled people in all kinds of roles. There are many choices for you to explore, including apprenticeships and shorter courses. Explore your passion. Visit skills.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Hurry! Minimax has Black Friday deals on now for a limited time only, with up to 65% off cookware and 60% off all global knife blocks, plus up to 40% off all Riedel glassware. Hurry on now at Minimax.
Black November ends Sunday at Nick Scali's. We must clear our floor stock and discontinued lines up to 30, 40 and 50% off. Our floor stock must go. Limited stock ends Sunday. Black November at all Nick Scali's stores. Hurry.
For tough pain relief, my go-to is Panadol Extra. Because if I don't, with my migraine headaches, I'm kind of useless in the kitchen. It's good to know you can still help out the people who need you. Together, let's rethink care.
fantasize about this back in Chicago.
The Waterpik Water Flosser. Clinically proven, the easy and most effective way to floss. Brushing only gets the surface, but the Waterpik Water Flosser cleans the areas brushing may miss. Healthier gums and brighter teeth in just a minute a day.
Cup. Yep. Yep.
Cup.
Yeah. Yup to the cup. Yup to the cup, fantastic. Yup to the cup. Yup to the cup. Yup to the cup, fantastic. Yup, 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 yup. Yup, 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 yup. Yup, 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 yup. Yup, 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 yup. Yup to the cup, fantastic.
A busload of children had a terrifying trip to school this morning when the driver had to slam on the brakes to avoid a car that had pulled out in front. About 40 children were thrown forward during the scary ride in Sydney at around 9 a.m. 2 students were taken to hospital with possible fractures. An anonymous bidder has paid well over $6 million for a Brett Whiteley painting, setting an Australian art record. The previous one was held by Sydney Nolan's painting of famed Australian bushranger Ned Kelly.
Brett Whiteley's 1975 Henri's armchair, named for Henri Matisse, was never going cheap. Only 30 people in the auction room, bidding opened at $4.5 million.
At $4.6 million I'm bid.
Moving by $100,000 increments.
Make no mistake, we are selling this evening.
And so they did 2 minutes later for $6.136 million, including GST and commission.
Congratulations, man. You sold for your product.
Going to a North Shore Sydney family who, understandably, remain anonymous.
The most expensive painting ever sold at auction in Australia by an Australian artist.
Eclipsing the previous record of $5.4 million for Sydney Nolan's first-class marksman. Before that, Whiteley, who died in 1992, was the undisputed record holder. Another of his armchair paintings sold for $3.9 million, while his Olgas sold for $3.4 million. There is no doubt that art can be a good investment. Plenty were surprised when Gough Whitlam approved the $1.3 million purchase of Jackson Pollock's Blue Poles back in 1973. That is today said to be worth $500 million. Cameron Price, 7 News.
Another Hollywood blockbuster is headed down under. The Gold Coast has been chosen as the location for a Ron Howard film about the Thai cave rescue. The federal government paid $13 million to lure the production to Australia. They're an iconic radio duo. At the height of their popularity, Baz and Pilko raked in 42% of the listening audience, which was truly extraordinary. Well, today they were back for a one-off show. We'll tell you why later in the Bulletin. A couple in New York has made quite the discovery while renovating their new home. They found almost 70 bottles of Scotch whisky hidden in the walls and floorboards. After doing some research, it was revealed the house dated back to the era of Prohibition, when the United States banned the production and sale of alcoholic beverages from 1920 to 1933. The collection's estimated to be worth around $50,000. The couple plans to sell the unopened bottles. A lucky find indeed. And speaking of good luck, one Aussie's become a multi-millionaire overnight after winning the entire $20 million Powerball prize. But it remains unclaimed. Lottery officials can't contact the winner with the good news because the entry was unregistered. What is known is the lucky ticket was purchased in Melbourne. Ooh. Let's hope they've still got it.
Wow, my mum's a regular player, Betty over there. I'm going to give her a call tonight.
If you're not here on Monday, I'll know why.
Oh, hello.
Now, what have you got in sport from the cricket? The Aussies have made a good start.
They've made the perfect start to the summer. It's been sensational. We have all the highlights coming up. Aaron Finch and Steve Smith have both been among the tons, which is great. Local strikers star teenager Darcy Brown scores big at the WBBL Awards and is eyeing off success, not just on the cricket pitch.
Yesterday, a wizard entered New York with a case full of magical creatures, and unfortunately, some have escaped.
2 Fantastic Beasts movies over 2 massive nights. The original tonight, the premiere tomorrow. See the whole Fantastic Beasts story, starting tonight on 7.
Could it get any bigger than this? Yes, it can. With the BCF Black Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday sale. You beauty. Save $60 on this Wanderer 25-litre icebox. How cool's that?
BCF and fun. Hey!
Next time you're on your bike, remember, there's a lot riding on it.
One look at South Australia's CTP choices shows that SGIC wears the state colours on their sleeve. The wonders of data, eh? Choose SGIC, helping South Australians since 1972.
There is still magic wherever you are. Cherish those golden to us this Christmas. Fragrant hazelnuts, smooth velvety chocolate. Say it with gold. Ferrero Rocher.
This Black Friday at barbecues galore. 40% off selected barbecues and outdoor dining. 30% off pro smoke barbecues and umbrellas. 20% off these big brand barbecues. This Black Friday, save up to 40% off this week only at barbecues galore. Now you're cooking.
Thanks to Light and Easy, Australians of all ages can enjoy their choice of delicious, nutritious meals in the comfort of their own home. And now we're giving every customer 10 chances to win $10,000. Visit lightandeasy.com.au.
Black November ends Sunday at Nick Scali. We must clear our floor stock and discontinued lines. Lounges reduced, dining tables reduced, dining chairs reduced, and much more. Limited stock ends Sunday. Black November at all Nick Scali stores. Hurry.
Great food lives in Foodland. The mighty South Aussies, yeah.
It's time for the Super Cheap Auto Black Friday 5-day sale. Get this Mighty Car Mods roller seat for $79.99 and an Alco Limit digital breathalyzer $99.99. Half price.
Everything auto, much more.
On Weekend Sunrise, full house. Australia's holiday hotspots swamped, but we have the vacancy rates where you can get in before it's too late from 7 a.m.
With COVID-19 changing our economic landscape, the state government has created the SA Small Business Hub. Visit business.sa.gov.au.
Hello again. Well, the Aussies have made a perfect start to the International Summer of Cricket against powerhouse India. Aaron Finch knocked up a ton and Steve Smith followed suit. They set Kohli's men, get this, a massive 375 to win.
259 days since the crowdless one-dayer jolted us into lockdown, cricket returned to the SCG. Like an Indian home ground these days, but the new barefoot circle reinforces this is Australian turf. Kohli versus Smith resumes. They honoured the Maverick Dino. Finch won the toss and straight out of quarantine.
Shot.
Warner and his skipper were away.
Up ish and wide of mid-off.
Despite a rude interruption by two anti-Adani protesters, there was little trouble for Australia's great opening pair. At 4:08, they paused. 6 years to the horrific, fatal day we lost Phillip Hughes. Finch launched past 50, yet another century stand, but he should have been run out for 51.
Look at Kohli. Can't believe it.
Finch only added insult. They ticked past 150 before a contentious dismissal of Warner on 69, a not-out call overturned.
India breakthrough.
The luck changed for Steve Smith on 13.
Close, yeah, that's close.
Saved by a virtual coat of varnish.
Oh, hang on.
Smith took full advantage with some help in the deep.
Should be taken and... Oh!
Kohli steamed. Smith found his hands all right, 50 from 36. Finch eased to his 17th one-day ton.
Beautifully played for the skipper.
Just as India really unravelled, the captain fell for 114.
If he drops this, there'll be something wrong.
Only allowing Smith and Glenn Maxwell to launch an extraordinary onslaught. It rained sixes.
That could be six, it is.
45 off 19 for the big show. Smith starts his summer with a knock that only he could play.
Lofted over the offside for 6 more.
Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
Okay.
Well, the Sydney Thunder upset Brisbane Heat to book a spot in their first WBBL final. The Thunder made 6 for 143 and the Heat were cruising to victory at 4 for 119, but they capitulated, losing 6 for 12 and crashing to a 12-run loss. It ends the Heat shot at a three-peat. The Thunder face the Melbourne Stars in tomorrow night's final. Well, 17-year-old striker sensation Darcy Brown has returned home as one of the most exciting talents in the country. In her debut season, she was named in the WBBL Team of the Year and voted the best young player.
Darcy Brown has certainly earned some downtime after her maiden Big Bash campaign where she played a starring role.
The pressure was built by Darcy Brown. Remember the name because she's getting wickets in the WBBL.
A blistering 116 kilometres per hour fastball helped Darcy claim 10 wickets, including the scalps of national team players. The youngster giving credit to her family for her success.
Very lucky that I've had such a sporting family and growing up just playing sport, and I don't know what I'd do without my family and my friends as well. They all played sport, and I'm just real lucky.
Darcy also proved an asset for the Strikers with her fielding, and at just 17 she's still deciding which sporting path to pursue. Darcy Brown's sporting prowess isn't restricted to just cricket. She's a keen footballer and basketballer, and here at Henley High she's part of the specialised sports program in netball. Darcy completed her Year 12 studies while in the WBBL hub, sharing an unusual graduation ceremony with the other teenagers.
It was pretty tough. We'd have, a few games and then I'd just want a day off, but I knew that, I had to get some study in some stage, so I'd have to knuckle down and do a little bit. Having played for Australia at under-19 level, a senior cap would be a dream come true. It is a goal in my life, but I'm not trying to set too many, expectations on myself and just try and enjoy it for as long as I can. John Casey, 7 News.
What a future she has. Now let's go to footy. A beer in Noosa with Premiership teammate Jared Ruffhead convinced James Frawley to come out of retirement and join St Kilda, the club his late uncle Danny captained.
Probably come in and give me a headlock and probably a punch in the arm and say, you've got a big name to live up to, mate. Don't stuff it up. So, it's an honour to be here.
And in the SANFL, the Menzel brothers Dan and Troy have defected, leaving Centrals for reigning premiers the Eagles. The Bulldogs left a not-so-subtle message on their website, highlighting that the club is after team-first players for the future. Well, Europa League clubs have continued to pay tribute to the late, great Diego Maradona, while Arsenal and Leicester have secured safe passage to the knockout stages.
An eerie feeling filled stadiums across Europe this morning where Europa League teams showed their respects for Diego Maradona. Premier League leaders Tottenham's 4-0 win over Bulgarian champions Ludogorets include this accidental long-range goal from Harry Winks.
Watch him! Look at that! Absolutely freakish, but Tottenham have a third. The keeper beaten by the flight of the ball.
Goalless at half-time, Arsenal won their way through to the next round with a 3-0 win.
It falls at the feet of Pepe, and this time he makes no mistake.
In Portugal, Leicester City looked beaten when Braga took a 3-2 lead in stoppage time.
And he slipped it through! Oh, what a goal that is! Sergio has surely snatched it for Braga.
But Jamie Vardy's last kick of the game secured a dramatic draw.
It's in Vardy! An astonishing conclusion to the game. Jamie Vardy slides it home for 3-3.
Robbie Cornthwaite, 7 News.
And our one to watch is Poised to Rain. That's in race 9 at Morphettville tomorrow. Good luck with that if you have a little flutter. Darcy Brown, the young cricketer, there, 17 years of age, and she's got all of those opportunities ahead of her.
Very talented sports person, yeah, and seems very down to earth with it.
Got the head switched on.
Good stuff.
Good on her.
Thanks, Soda. Checking the markets now, the ASX 200 closed 35 points lower. Trade tensions with China dampened what's been a positive week for the local share market. On currency markets, our dollar's buying 73.8 US cents. Stay with us after the break. Adelaide's radio's iconic duo back together again.
And hot tonight, but we do have a cool change on the way tomorrow. I'll let you know when relief is at hand in the forecast. Live from Mount Lofty, up next.
It's time to celebrate this year's end.
What a crazy 12 months it's been.
With a Christmas special so big it spans the nation.
All hands on deck. We can do something beautiful.
2 amazing and very Aussie makeovers.
Wow.
Packed with ideas. Terrific. Bringing colour to any home.
I'm blown away.
And festive ideas for a happy holidays.
Christmas is shaping up to be pretty special this year.
Join us for the Better Homes Christmas Special, next up on 7.
Know they're always within arm's reach this holiday season. Get a connected smartwatch from Optus and pay it off bit by bit. It starts with yes.
It's Black Friday at House & Garden with daily specials up to 70% off, boards up to 30% off, outdoor chairs from $49, cookware up to 70% off. House & Garden, for everything in and out.
Let me be great, let me be witty, let me be forbidden in every state and city. How about let you do a double take? I don't need your money, I don't need your credit. I'm a superwoman, I let you watch me fade.
We have Australia's largest range of tyre brands and sizes. Find a cheaper identical local tyre, in-store or online and we'll beat it. At Bob Jane T-Marts, we'll look after you.
Imagine where you'd go if nothing stood in your way. The BMW X1 S-Drive 18i. $149 per week at 4.99% per annum. Business customers only. Search BMW X1.
JB Hi-Fi's mega price splits on now with crazy half-price deals. Like the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip phone, half price. Garmin Fenix 6 X Sports Watch, half price. Samsung Galaxy Watch, half price. Eufy Robot Bake, half price and more. Shop in-store, online or call us. JB, you've done it again.
Black November ends Sunday at Nick Scali. We must clear our floor stock and discontinued lines. Lounges reduced, dining tables reduced, dining chairs reduced, and much more. Limited stock ends Sunday. Black November at all Nick Scali stores. Hurry.
At UniSA, our degrees are designed in partnership with industry. So it will feel like you're studying 1 minute and in a career the next. Apply now at UniSA and start your unstoppable career.
So much. Darling, looks great.
Looks pretty good, eh?
Food's almost ready. Put it on. Yay!
Boom!
Bring home a little magic this Christmas.
An SA Weekender special, cooking with Adelaide's MasterChef Callum Hahn.
Smells so good.
From a snack to a Sunday roast and desserts to die for.
Pancakes for adults.
The best of Callum's delicious recipes. SA Weekender, cooking with Callum, just before 7 News, Sunday 5:30 on 7.
It was a blast from the past for Adelaide radio listeners today. Iconic duo Baz and Pilko reunited for a one-off show, raising money for Variety. It was their first time on air together since the 90s.
My old mate Baz, g'day. You're supposed to talk now.
Oh, mate, all the switches are different. What happened to the old studio? They've ruined it. Like the bloody Kent Town Hotel, they ruined that.
And you're looking for records, aren't you? Albums and stuff like that.
Oh, mate, this is so different.
Tony Pilkington returned to the airwaves solo this year, hosting the 5AA afternoon show. Time now for more on the weather, and Amelia's at Mount Lofty tonight. You can't really escape the heat up there either, Amelia.
I'm afraid not, Jane, even though we've been trying. Mount Lofty is usually one of the coldest spots in the state, but even here, the mercury hit 35 degrees today. Of course, too hot for hikers up the summit, well, most of them anyway, but we're not alone up here. Just next to us, the CFS observers have been keeping a close eye on the hills from the fire tower, with the region experiencing extreme fire danger in today's heat. In the city, we hit a top of 40.6 degrees this afternoon. afternoon. Ahead of a hot night, right now it's still around 37 degrees outdoors. And across the state, temperatures were well above average, albeit some southern coastal regions were a little cooler. Nullarbor was the hottest at 46.1 degrees, and that heat will continue into tomorrow as a high in the east continues to send hot, dry northerlies our way. It'll make way for a trough that'll deliver a sometimes gusty southerly change during the day tomorrow. Interstate and the heat will reach Sydney up to 36 degrees to kick off the weekend there, with a storm possible in Canberra and in Darwin. Back home and very hot across our far north, up to 47 in Woomera, Roxby Downs, Murray and Oodnadatta, 46 for Moomba, Coober Pedy and Port Augusta, and for Renmark as well. 41 for Whyalla. Showers are expected to extend across from the west during the day, tending to rain about those southern coastal areas, which are looking a bit cooler tomorrow. Just 26 for Port Lincoln. 25 for Victor Harbour and Kingscote, 24 for Mount Gambier. As we've heard, total fire bans have been declared across much of the state tomorrow, with the mid-north and Flinders facing extreme fire danger. And we're expecting strong winds about most coastal areas tomorrow as well. In the city, we're not likely to drop much lower than 24 degrees overnight. We'll probably hit our top of 38 a little earlier than usual, with that cool change likely in the middle of the day, possibly leading to showers later. On Metro Waters, nor'easterly shifting southwest to southerly and reaching 25 knots from late morning. And to surfing, some messy surf at Victor, but not bad tomorrow at Yorks. Looking ahead, a much cooler Sunday, 24 up to 32 Monday, ahead of forecast showers on Tuesday. But we've got a lot to go before we reach them, Jane.
We have. Thanks, Amelia. That's all the news we have for you for now. I'll have updates, though, through the evening. But from all of us here in the Adelaide 7 News team for now, good night.